everyone, and welcome to Etcetera with the Woodards. I'm your host for this evening, Craig Woodard Sr., and my co-host is joining me, Deontay Cooley, DC. What's up, man? Welcome
What's
back.
going
Thank
on,
you for
man?
joining. How you been, man? You been good?
Yeah, man, I've been pretty good, man. I've been getting busy out here, man, putting
Yeah,
push to the pavement, making sure I'm
it,
taking
it,
care of business. So
it's the new year too, 2026, man. A lot of different things going on, which is great for folks to see, man. Hey, I want to start off just by going through a little bit of the NFL playoffs right now. I know you're sitting pretty good right now because your boys just got done winning. We'll talk about them in a second. But man, people, folks, wow, the NFL playoffs this year has been incredible. There has not been a game decided by more than 4 points in all four games that has played thus far. So, incredible playoffs. The Rams beat the Panthers 34-31 in an incredible game. All these great games were really good games. Packers losers to the Bears 31-27. The Bills just edged the Jacksonville Jaguars, and a lot of people had the Jags possibly going all the way to the Super Bowl. Bills win 27-24, and we just ended up watching at home in Philadelphia the Eagles lose to DC's 49ers 23-19. What a great game. Did you catch any of the game?
y'all watched the whole game. I was watching it while I was bowling, man. Every time Brock Purdy threw an interception, I bowled a gutter ball.
Yeah,
man, it was frustrating. Emotions was all over the place, but glad we got the dub.
I tell
What's
you what,
crazy is like we missing half the team every week. We losing somebody.
yeah, oh yeah. I see you guys lost Kittle. Tough
Yeah, we lost Kittle today. Yeah.
injury, man. I mean, but you know what though? I think in each game there's been some significant injuries with all the players on all the teams, man, and it's been a defensive game. There been a lot of field goals scored. There've been some that have been missed as well, but the fact that the difference in all the games is 4 points or less. I mean, that's got to show you that these games are competitive, right?
Yeah, or rigged.
That's one or the other. I mean, we talked about that before with the Steelers Ravens game. Like, okay, we lost to the Browns, and then all of a sudden we playing that last game in Week 18. Like it was just kind of weird, man. But the NFL knows how to make money, and people know how to spend money, and you know how that goes. So, 2 games left for the first wild card weekend. We got starting right now. Actually, kickoff is probably underway. The Chargers and the Patriots should be a decent game there. And of course, tomorrow night, my Steelers are playing the Texans Monday night at 8 o'clock. Just a little note to note here. The Steelers have won 23 straight Monday night games at home. The last game that they lost on a Monday night in Pittsburgh was October 14th, 1991. That was my junior year in high school, man. That's an incredible run right there. And I hope I don't jinx them by saying that, but wow, there's not many teams out there that can brag about that. You know what I'm saying? That should be a good game, though. We'll check that one out tomorrow. Wanted to let everybody know as well. I made a post already. I am coming back to Erie for the first time because it's going to be really cool to come up and hopefully see everybody. I haven't been up there since last year, of course, and we've been covering Marcello Woodard's shooting and going hard on the podcast and everything. And the Dr. King Awards dinner is next Saturday at 6 p.m. from 6 to 10 at the Ambassador. And a bunch of the advocates have won a social justice award. We're not in this for that, but it is nice when people recognize the good things that you do, which is really cool. And we'll be up there receiving an award, but more importantly, spending time with some family. I can't wait to see you up there, DC. It's going to be cool to be in Erie. I'll be in there. Actually, the way that I plan the trip, it works out pretty good because I'm coming in Saturday morning, um, and then I don't fly out to in Pittsburgh until Wednesday evening. So I'll be there for the preliminary hearing in the morning time, man. So that is something that I can't wait to come up and see. It's been a long time since I've been up there, so this will be good, and this will be my first time since the passing of Marcello. Um, let's get right into it, man. I want to talk about what transpired this week um, with the ICE shooting of Renee Nicole Good. Um, I made a post the other day comparing like the video. This, of course, is not the exact same, but there's a lot of similarities in what we were able to see versus what we weren't able to see but could hear on the Ring doorbell video for Marcello's shooting with Kevin Seelinger. First of all, well, let me get your thoughts on when you saw the video of Renee Good getting shot by the ACE agent. What were your thoughts when you first saw the video?
I mean, I didn't put too much emphasis on it. I watched it, and then people been sending it to me from all over the place.
Mhm.
Um, RIP to, what was her name?
Renee Nicole Good.
Renee Nicole. RIP to her. I really, if I'm being 100% honest, I haven't dove into it to look into it. Like I said, the way my phone been going and people reach out, like I think it's gotten to the point to where people feel like every time something happens that there's a certain person or certain people who's supposed to say something. So
Yeah,
I've been more or less seeing everybody else, sharing their concerns, sending their condolences, talking about the injustice and how they feel about it. But
yeah,
for me, I've kind of taken a back seat to that one because I'm not really too educated to be speaking up, and I'm one of those people to where I don't talk if I don't know what I'm talking about.
yeah. I looked at the video a number of times. There's different angles of the video. They released the body cam from the ICE agent as well. Um, you know, and this is beyond that video. You know, it's amazing when a group of people can see something with their own eyes and they see a totally different story. You know, um, I don't understand how that happens. It happened with George Floyd. There's just two different sides always, even when you have a video that is compelling. What I saw from the video was that the ICE agent, there were a couple of them. One of them was pulling on her door. Her window was down, her driver's side window. He was trying to reach in and open her door. That was not the one that was you know, that people were saying was in danger at all. He's just trying to open her door, trying to tell her to get out. They were there to try to take video of the ICE agents where, people are saying that they're doing wrong, doing people wrong and falsely arresting people. And so there was another agent that started to circle her vehicle with his, and he had his cell phone out and he's recording her, and her wife got out of the car and was on his video talking to him, and he's going all the way around to the passenger side, and then he goes in front of the vehicle. um, as he's in the front of the vehicle, he has his cell phone still recording her, and she is visibly turning the wheel and she's trying to leave the scene. Um, as she's trying to leave the scene, she's turning. He veers to the right hand side of her vehicle, which is now the driver's side, and shot in her window. And then, as he is right next to the driver's side door, his gun is pointed in the driver's side door and he shoots her two times. So there's three shots, which is similar to what occurred with Marcello. Um, the the thing that people are going back and forth on is whether or not this guy was in danger. Even though if you're in danger, you're not allowed to shoot. I saw some different legal statutes, and that's really frowned upon. But the fact that he was clear from her vehicle because he was now on the side when his first shot went off, that means he's no longer in danger. Then he shoots inside her driver's side window and hits her twice. Her vehicle then, of course, as she's shot, the vehicle takes off and hits a parked car down the street. And there are people in the public now that are still saying that he was in the right to do what he did. And even though the video shows that he was clear of the video, and you know how they use the vehicle being a weapon, but the video shows that he was clear from being hit. I mean, it's crazy how some people can see one video and a totally different story than how others. And DC, the way that I looked at this, man, is it was like this is kind of like what the video to me could have looked like with Cello, except for Cello was not leaving like that. Like she was specifically trying to get out of there and leave. And Cello's incident happened within 16 seconds of Kevin Seelinger getting out the vehicle. So when you see something that's almost similar, it's hard to not talk about it. So I did look at it a little bit deep, but I don't know. They're two totally different stories. I don't want to speculate on either or. I have my feelings based on her situation, and of course, we all know how we feel about Marcello's situation. Is there anything that could have occurred? Like we was playing the devil's advocate, right, for Marcello's incident. Is there anything that you could think of? Anything that you could think of that would possibly give Seelinger um, any right to handle the situation the way that he did?
Not at all. I don't think that there's a possibility to even play devil's advocate with that. I
Yeah,
think that's clear cut and dry what took place. Um, Based on the things that we've discussed over the course of the last 5.5, let's say 6 months, to me it seems as though the man had motive. To me, it seems as though he had an issue with Cello or the issue with people who sell drugs. It looked like he followed him. It looked like his partner was there to try to calm things down, and things went haywire. There's because there was nothing found in the car. There was nothing found in the house that would even show that he was at danger or his life was at risk. So I don't think, and I can play just about devil's advocate with anything, but based on what I saw,
yeah,
I don't see anything playing devil's advocate. The only thing that I could see potentially not going in the favor of is if they don't have enough evidence to stick him with the charges that they're pursuing. But I
mm,
also feel like more charges may come now that he's incarcerated and awaiting trial or conviction, because it might not even go to trial.
that's true. Very, very true. Just thinking about the whole situation, and just reading up on different posts, and actually going back in social media on that night, and looking at different content. I was reading one of the posts that there were other people outside at the time, that there were, I think, kids on the sidewalk. There were other people outside at the time that this happened. Um, how dangerous is that for other people? And you mentioned possible other charges coming. Is that possibly taken into consideration that there are other people that were present outside at the time that this guy took three shots that could have put them in danger as well?
Absolutely, I think potentially like there will be more charges to come, and I think that's why it was just we're gonna stick him with the hard ones, get him in jail, And then if he tries to negotiate his way out or bargain down, then they'll come back and say, well, hey, what about this? Somebody else was there. There were kids in the street. You know, we talking reckless endangerment. We talking endangering the welfare of a child. You know what I mean? We talking Shamel was there. You know what I mean? So possible attempted. You know what I mean? Homicide or reckless endangerment of another person. So I believe that there's an opportunity for more charges to come in the event that his attorney reaches out to the district attorney and they start playing a negotiation game. I think that she has enough information and evidence to be like, you know, I still got stuff in the tuck that I haven't even presented to you guys yet. So you can either play ball or you can take this plea of whatever the plea may be. But I'm not sure if he's going to go to court or if this is going to make it to court, because again, when you're talking about the evidence like that, if he goes to trial, that means he's trying to fight for his innocence.
Right.
And I don't, from them charges coming, like you got to think, we live in Erie, Pennsylvania, right? Erie, Pennsylvania is one of the worst places to live for people of color.
Yeah.
And then we have a white woman district attorney who has pressed charges on a white parole agent. That's the chances of something like that happening. But prior to this was very slim to, you know, there's a lot of people who didn't think this was going to happen. So I think she got him dead to rights. And I do believe that they're probably trying to figure out, or him and his team are probably trying to figure out what's going to be the plea deal. Yeah. Unless they do try to get her recused and move it somewhere else. And then he'll be able to face a jury of his peers.
Yeah. Do you think that is the best course of action for him, is to try to file for change of venue for that possibility? There's really nowhere close that there's a lot of minority population present. You know what I mean?
I think he cooked. I think he cooked. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think he's cooked. I could be wrong. This could be me just being hopeful.
Yeah.
Again, I'm no attorney. I don't know the law or nothing like that. But based on what we've seen, based on what we know, based on all the research that we've done ourselves, and then the charges that were filed against him, I don't know. If this dude get out of jail on this one, if he walk from this one, it's going to be crazy. It will be crazy.
I would lose all the trust, the little trust that I have in the justice system if something like that were to happen with everything that they have and everything that has occurred and everything that we know. What question was I going to ask you? Just left my mind, man. I was just going to ask.
I'll speak freely for a second, because I think like right now, I feel like it's a lot of people who just sitting around waiting and trying to figure out what's next, what should we do, or now it's people like, it's even people who are still trying to stay relevant, you know what I mean, and make a lot of noise, because it's like people have built a reputation off of this situation.
Yeah.
Which by all means is cool to me, but I think that we need to start taking a plan of action for our community, like moving forward. Yeah. Because I've said from the beginning, like justice for Cello, for me, doesn't just mean an arrest. It means changing the community. And I've shifted my focus to like finances. You know what I mean? And I do believe like throughout all of this time that we've been arguing, yelling, fighting, and screaming in the street, we weren't taken seriously because we didn't have the financial resources that we needed to support our cries. We as a community don't have strength in finances to where we are taken seriously, and we are constantly waiting on the government, or we are constantly waiting on the finances and the funds to come, to where we as a community need to continue to unite, continue to build strong. And everybody who has been having conversations about justice for Cello, we need to not put so much emphasis on playing attorney or trial and court and stuff like that, but more or less like we need to be talking about strategic plans on the changes that we want to see in the Erie community for us. My focus specifically is the east side, because there's a lot of different things happening on the west side or downtown Erie, and we don't go there, or we don't have access to those things. So in my opinion, I think our next step for justice for Cello is figuring out how can we build ourselves up financially, how can we strategize and strategically come together so then that way we're earning, we're gaining, and then we have more of a financial backing, so that way when we say something, we mean something. And then if we aren't getting our way, because we've become so connected, we can say, yo, well, we're not shopping there, or we're not going there. And I know this sounds very cliche, You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it sounds like, oh, it's strength in numbers and stuff like that. But based on the information that I've been researching, and the people that I've been talking to, like, there's about to be a shift in the city of Erie for people of color.
Mhm.
It's an opportunity for all of us to start winning, to start gaining, and start earning. And we need to be looking at things like that. You know what I mean? As opposed to constantly trying to poke holes in the situation, or constantly playing attorney. Like, I'm satisfied right now with Kevin Seelinger being incarcerated. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Awaiting trial, and we know, or awaiting hearings, and we know this is not going to happen overnight. So in the meantime, we've connected with a lot of people. We've accessed a lot of people. We've reached a lot of different people in our community and outside of our community. So we need to start thinking about progressive planning and strategic planning as far as what are we going to be talking about next when we go to these? Because I'm still will be at the city council meetings. I'll
Yeah.
still be at the county council meetings. And then I just seen they posted something today about a school board meeting. So it
Mhm.
seems as though, like, with the change in the administration around here,
Yeah.
there's going to be plenty of opportunities for us to voice ourselves about our wants, and our wants can't just be programming. You know what I
Right.
mean? Our wants can't just be, okay, well, we want y'all to fund the community centers where our kids go, because some of the programs in those community centers aren't teaching our children about financial literacy, and when I say financial literacy, I don't mean just credit, building your credit. I mean how to earn, how to save, how to budget, how to fill out a resume, how to discipline yourself from not buying materialistic things so you can see the long run, stuff like that. We need to start purchasing real estate. Like, it's a lot of opportunities for us to come together, connect, and build, and start purchasing real estate. But we, as a Black community, when we talk about justice for Cello, and this is me, I'm speaking for myself. When
Right.
I say we as a Black community, this is just my opinion, because I don't want anybody to feel like I speak for the Black community.
Yeah.
But as far as like us moving forward, we need to be focusing on a bag, guys, because
Yeah.
we don't get taken seriously when we don't have money. And this year, the whole 2025, like, my focus on earning was just to be able to earn enough to survive. It was never to grow my bank account, or it was never to make enough money to be able to help and build somebody else up. And as I've been having these conversations since the beginning of the year, I've been connecting with a lot of people who are in it. Like, I text somebody bag talk, and then we link up and we get together and we just talk about how we can make more money, how we can build our bank accounts, how can we build our teams and stuff like that. Because again, we don't have nothing. And if we don't have nothing, we can't do anything. So we can podcast, you know what I mean, all day. We can go to the
Mhm.
city council meetings and say, hey, this. We can protest and say that. But when we start hitting them in their pockets, and
Yeah.
then when we start building our pockets, like, yeah, no, we ain't shopping there. You know what? We don't even need to go out this weekend. We all gonna stay home, or we ain't going. You know what I mean? And we
Yeah.
start doing stuff like that, and we identify the people who we can invest in, who have a true passion for the community. Then that's how we start pushing the needle forward. And I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, now it's money talk, money talk, money talk. Like, it was never to not make money. It was more or less we thinking about the people and the justice. But now that we had this man incarcerated, and
Yeah.
now as we're all together and we're still having conversations and we're talking about our civic duties and our civic responsibilities, it's very important for us to start focusing on finances.
Mhm.
It's important for us to start focusing on real estate. And it's important for us to start focusing on reuniting and rebuilding, repairing our community, and burying all of the hatches that we have with one another, because we need it at this point
Mhm.
in Erie, Pennsylvania, the Black community, we need each other more than we ever know. And then I also will say, again, based on the conversations that I've been having, there is plenty of opportunity that is coming down the pipeline. And for the people who understand how to organize, those will be the people who win. So I'm trying to educate and encourage more people to learn and to organize without giving too much of myself, because I'm on bag time.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned that, right? I think it was New Year's Eve. You sent me a text message about 2026 being about the bag, man, and it's got to be, and there's power there. That is a part of what we've been discussing when it comes down to what does justice look like for Cello, and that being part of the change part. I talked last week on the podcast about change and transparency, with the change that you're looking at as far as the finances and occupying more real estate for the Black community, and really taking ownership of more power that way, via finances. Um, do you think that we have the folks that want to follow that. I mean, everybody wants a bag, but do they want to work to get it, right? That's one thing right there. And then with the new elected officials, how do you think with the new elected officials, the route of transparency is going to go moving into 2026?
So back to the first question, I know that there are some people who are interested in having that conversation and coming together, but then I also know that there are some people who aren't going to believe it until they see things.
Right.
And what I've been told and what I've been learning is to stop putting so much emphasis and focus on those people, because
Yeah.
I put forth my fair share of work to, and nobody has ever called me a liar. I've been called a lot of things, but never a liar.
Hmm.
So I've been connecting with and continuously connecting with and building up a team of earners and people who are interested in having more of an influence within the city of Erie. And
Nice.
then when you talk about the new administration and transparency,
Yeah.
what I will say is at the end of the day, we can't continue to wait and rely on anybody to save us or to be transparent with us or be honest with us. You know what I mean? We can only be hopeful about it. And we rallied for Daria. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We rallied for Andre. We rallied for a lot of people who were running,
Right.
hoping that they would keep their promises as far as the things that they were going to speak about in the community. But
Hmm.
again, this is why I go back to talking about us building our finances, because a lot of us waiting on those elected officials is making sure that they fund our community, and it is their job to do so. But
Yeah.
with those fundings comes programs, and the typical programming that we have in our community is, basketball, football, sports and stuff like that. But there's
Mhm.
no talking about 13 and 14. They do the summer jam, the GCAC. So there's
Okay.
one organization doing that. But even like teaching young kids how to be entrepreneurs. Like I know Gary Horton over there, he lets those young folks do landscaping and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But then even we talk about like AI is the new wave, or we talking about stocks and crypto. My daughter had a stock account at 15. It was like a parent one. But I was talking to my daughter about stocks. I was talking to my daughter about precious metals. And she's about to graduate college a year early. Upcoming May, she got a Roth IRA account. You know what I mean? Her credit score is through the roof, and like,
Mhm.
but we need to be having these conversations, and we need to be educating ourselves about these things, because I do believe that we will receive some transparency. But then at the end of the day, there's still an issue with trust there. We
Yeah.
don't trust people who don't look like us, and people who don't look like us don't trust us. And then even deeper, we don't even trust people who do look like us. So
Right.
before we can even say, are they going to be transparent with us? Are we going to be transparent with ourselves? You know what I mean? Are we going to start holding our fellow man and fellow woman accountable and say, hey, that's unacceptable here, or we would like to see you do better things or more things? So I believe that before we can try to point the fingers at any government or elected officials, or before we can wait on anybody to come save us, we are at a point in time right now to where we need to continue, because we have been doing a great job.
Hmm.
Continue to repair our community. We need to continue to rebuild these connections, and we need to continue to have these uncomfortable conversations, because I've been a part of plenty of uncomfortable conversations with people who are interested in learning and listening. And sometimes they just need somebody to let them know, hey, it's okay to ask some of those questions. I think that's how we move the needle.
Yeah.
We can only hope for the new administration to be transparent with us, and I believe that they will be. But what I'm not going to do is put all my trust into a new administration to try to change history in 4 years when we've been going at this for quite some time. So I think it's more or less like we have to build us up. Period. At this point, I'm not waiting for nobody else. I'm not asking nobody permission. Like, I'm building my team. I'm working with the team. We've been earning every day. I'm talking from pennies to hundreds of dollars. Like, I don't
Hmm.
care what it is. Earn something, build something, and talk about it. Be conscious about your finances. Not to be greedy, not to be a glut, but to be able to have enough to sustain yourself and to help your family.
When we talk about law enforcement and we talk about trust and transparency and we talk about the lack of minorities in law enforcement, how do we break the mold? And do you think that this administration is looking to try to do that over the next course of the next few years to try to um, change the outlook of law enforcement and what law enforcement looks like? That's number one. Number two, do our people want to even be in that profession when they've been let down a number of times? So, the administration could be looking to add more minorities to law enforcement, but maybe the candidates aren't there because the relationship hasn't been there for years. Like, how? Where do you even start at?
And again, which is why, and it's probably unfavorable to say, but we historically are always looking for somebody to come and save us. And I
Yeah.
think you answered question one with the statement of question two.
Hmm.
Are we going to want to do that? We have issues with trust or not trust in law enforcement. But again, if somebody doesn't step up and do it, the people who are going to police our community are going to be people who aren't from our community.
Hmm.
So then it's more or less like, because I know if some names were dropped, as far as like guys who we feel like could fit the description or do the job or get the position. But
Right.
then we need to be thinking about who in our community would we want to be police officers, who in our community would do we think could be, and who will we write letters of recommendation for and stuff like
Right.
that. So again, it goes hand in hand, but we as a people need to start looking at ourselves, and we need to start looking at our loved ones and saying we need to get our stuff together, because again, with the administration change, we are waiting for somebody to save us.
Yeah.
When the funds come in and all of the budgets get passed, we are waiting for somebody to save us. But I do believe that everybody has an ability to earn, and it doesn't have to be some magnificent plan. You don't have to be the greatest entrepreneur. Even for people who work, you know what I mean, learning how to save and learning how to build and teamwork and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess every question that you ask me about the administration is probably going to go back to us as the people, because I mean, think about the administration that was there before the new one, and
Yeah.
think about how hard we fought just to get somebody to say justice for Cello. And
Right.
even with the administration change, we still have yet to see a mugshot of Kevin Sealinger. We
Yeah.
have yet to see a perp walk of Kevin Sealinger. So when we talk about transparency, we're
Hmm.
still lacking certain things, and that's why I didn't want to go too deep into the ICE situation, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be comparing tragedies. But what I do know is we've been seeking justice for Cello since July 2nd, and we have yet to see the face of the person who shot and killed him. We have yet to see the perp walk of the person who shot and killed him. But then we've seen so many people who live in our own city who are so angry about something that took place somewhere else. And I didn't want to shame people for having compassion for human life being taken. So I stayed away from that. People send it to me in my inbox. I just open it and close it, because
Yeah.
I don't want to downplay somebody else's situation or somebody else's tragedy. But what I will say is, and I mean this in the most caring way I possibly can, I live in Erie, Pennsylvania. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So right now, my concern is what's going on in Erie, Pennsylvania. Right now, my concern is for the betterment of the Black people who live in this community. Right now, my concern is us learning how to love one another and build each other up. And if we lose focus of justice for Cello because something else took place, then it will be easy for us to just go back to the regular lives that we were living, because now there's another, for lack of better words, hot topic subject to talk about that's going to allow us to lose focus. Like I seen people posting statuses saying, "Oh, this is very similar to Cello. Why could this make national news and Cellos didn't make national news?" Then I even seen some elected officials posting statuses about the situation. I seen some people who we begged to talk to posting statuses about the situation, and I said from the beginning that I wasn't emotionally attached with the Justice for Cello situation. So I
Hmm.
didn't want to hop in anybody's comments. I didn't want to have too much to say because I didn't want my emotions to come out. But at the end of the day, I say this in the most genuine way that I possibly can. My concerns are with Erie, Pennsylvania right now at this very moment, because this is where I live. And I know we're at a situation now to where it's just like, oh, what can happen anywhere, which is why we're seeking justice for Cello. God
Hmm.
forbid an ICE agent comes to Erie, Pennsylvania and kills anyone. Then that'll be a battle that we probably gonna have to step up and fight. But
Right.
I myself don't want to lose focus, and I don't want to be the person to shift the energy, and I don't want Malcolm to be the person to shift the energy, because so many people are paying attention to, some of the stuff we saying and we doing. So by no means was I trying to be insensitive to anybody who had any issues with the ICE murder. No, I was not trying to be insensitive to anybody that I ignored. But I was born and raised in Erie, Pennsylvania. And this is where my heart is at, man. And this is what I'm working for at this point in time right now. With
Yeah.
all due respect.
Um, you know, when we talk about, I've seen a lot of this has calmed down a bit since the arrest. I mean, we're on day 23 right now to the journey of the conviction of Kevin Sealinger. And in 3 weeks and 2 days, probably for the last week, I haven't seen many comments in social media where the you got those people that are talking about the other side. The most ironic thing is and this goes back to July 2nd, and I know you'll agree with this. Most of the people that make these comments, these uh, negative comments, and the other side comments, they don't even live in the neighborhood. They don't even live in the area that the incident happened. They're not from there. They probably have never been there, but they got an opinion. And within the last week, I have not seen that much about people talking about supporting Kevin Singler. Like, I think some things have died down. I think when there's time on our side, and you and I have discussed, we got all the time in the world right now because he's locked up. Let the clock keep ticking. If they need to do some continuances, by all means do them. Because he ain't going anywhere. You
Right.
know, this is the time for him to be in. But I think things have died down a little bit with the naysayers, and that's always a good thing because that kind of flares things up, and you don't want to have division. But a lot of those folks aren't even from the area. I know your inbox blows up. Your inbox blows up about a number of different things, but are you visually seeing the same thing? Have you seen a lot of negative naysayers saying things about this situation, or has it calmed down on your end
No,
as
it
well?
has calmed down, but I think it's strategic, and I feel like that's why I've calmed down myself as well.
Yeah.
Because remember that the letter that the FOP put out,
Hmm.
you know what I mean, and they asked people, let's not talk about this, let's not. And I believe that there are people who are sitting back watching everybody who has been seeking justice for Cello, who's been hashtagging justice for Cello, who has been saying anything Cello related to catch us slipping, to see if
Yeah.
we're going to implicate ourselves or implicate Cello in any mess. So yes, I have noticed that a lot of the Kevin Sealinger fan clubs has disappeared.
Yeah.
And I think that is strategic. You know what I mean? And I think that we need to be mindful of how they're playing the way that they're playing, and we need to not put ourselves in a situation to where we're putting our foot in our mouth. And when I say that, I don't think that anybody can say anything that's going to disrupt the case. I don't think that any regular civilian, we all have the right to talk about it,
Right.
but I guess just more or less antagonizing witnesses or antagonizing the defendant. You know what I mean? So I feel like they've calmed down, because if they keep it going, it would give us an opportunity to attack them, which
Yeah.
would be both sides exposing information that does not need to be exposed. So I believe it's all strategic. I see it has went away. But again, we live in a trendy city. And once he got incarcerated and people seeing the charges, it was like, oh, wow, this might be a real thing. And
Yeah.
then once he got incarcerated, a lot of us who were screaming justice for Cello, we kind of slowed down a little bit because, oh, wow, this is a real thing. So I think it has slowed down on both sides, but I think it was intentional and I think it was strategic. And that's why I was saying, like, while we're at this time, we need to be figuring out what is our next move for our community, for our people. How do we build from here? How do we grow from here? As opposed to just thinking, now we got to wait for this court date. Like, no, we don't have to sit back and wait for no court date. There's
Yeah.
plenty of things that we can be doing to build our community. There's plenty of things that we can be doing to educate people. There's so much work that can be done. So by no means do we got to get off track of what we're doing, but we need to kind of change gears a little bit and understand the direction that we're heading in, so we can get people to believe us, to trust us, and to come along with us, because we do need change around here.
Hmm. Yeah, we do. No doubt about it. Um, Talking about things that we do not want to change, we want to continue to go to. Um, there was the city council meeting at 9 o'clock last Wednesday, I believe, and the county council meeting's coming up here on, I believe, the 11th. You going to be able to make that one?
Absolutely plan on making that county council meeting. I plan on making as many as I possibly can, because again, we talked about this when Andre left county council. There's
Yeah.
no representation of black people on county council, black woman or black man. So I
Yeah.
believe that we need to be showing up to those meetings, even if it's just to listen. We don't always have to grab the microphone, and we need to be showing our faces and making our presence known so they can learn who we are, so they can
Mhm.
understand who we are. Because what's going to be important now that they can do for us is they can appoint people to boards, and they
Yeah.
can appoint different people to authorities so that we have the information as far as what's going on, and we can share our concerns, and we can give our opinions as far as people of color. Because now that Andre is gone, there's no African American or Latino, Latina, there's no diversity when it comes to race outside of white people on county council. So I think it's important for us to be showing up. And we don't gotta pack the house. It would be nice to pack the house so then they can see and understand that we not playing and we taking this seriously. But I plan to continue to go. I plan to continue to speak my mind when I feel the need to do so. But I also believe that we need to have some type of black man and woman representation in those rooms and board appointments and stuff like that. I know Mr. Junius Johnson just got appointed. Mr. William Jeffers, he just got appointed to something as well. So there have been some appointments, and we want to see more because we have no representation. So yeah, I plan on being at those meetings.
Yeah, and that's extremely important to keep things the same way. Malcolm's watching; he just chimed in too, and he said we will be attending city and county council meetings on the regular. It is extremely important for voices to be heard, especially the crew that you're speaking to. None of them are going to look like us, and so it is imperative that. Your voices in Erie, Pennsylvania are heard. So please, ladies and gentlemen out there that have been attending city council and county council meetings, please continue to push your voice. We want to push change. We want to talk about transparency. We want to talk about what can we do as a county to prevent these things from happening in the future. And those people that have not gone to the city council and county council meetings, start going. You know what I mean? And like Deontay said, you don't have to grab the mic and say anything. It would be nice, you know what I mean, if you did. But just your presence being there shows the board that council can look out there and see that who they are entertaining. We care about the city. We care about the council, the county, and we're not going anywhere. So that's extremely important. Um, Big question for you, DC. Um, we're still. I mean, I know we're still way at the beginning stages here. I mean, the marathon race has just begun after the arrest happened. The investigation was one thing, but this is another thing, and we got a long ways to go. Um, Knowing that we have a long ways to go, we have a lot of time to think. We have a lot of time to strategize. There's times that I'll be asleep, I'll wake up, and I'm like, oh man, and I have a thought that comes through. What what does justice for Cello ultimately look like for you? Like, if you can um, write this story and um, tell me how you would want to see it end with certain facts, your own facts. This is your own opinions, but your own opinions in a factual mind, right? How would you want to see things end?
I wouldn't even use the word in. I would say I want to see how things begin. I want to see
Okay.
more black people own homes. I want to
Yeah.
see more black executive directors. I want to see more black people working in area insurance. I want to see more black people coming in and out of city council, coming working for city hall, working in the courthouse. Like, I representation matters. Like, and they've
Yeah.
been telling us that for quite some time. They've told me that as a kid. You know what I mean? And now I'm an adult man, and I don't see the representation in the community that I live in that looks like me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I see some people who have been out here advocating for what we're talking about for quite some time, to where we've identified them as the representatives, but those folks don't always represent me. So I want to see more people of color more black people own businesses and thrive. I want to see some of those folks get the same support and assistance that some of these other big wigs or these top name people donate to. I would love to see Erie Insurance invest a shit ton of money into the black community
Yeah.
intentionally. I don't care for people who say, oh well, it's all black or it's DEI or all of that stuff. Like, I don't care. I want my kids to feel like they can be doctors. I want my kids to feel like they can be attorneys. I want to see more black people driving nice cars. I want to see more black people being police officers, being sheriffs. I want to see more black people graduated from high school. I want to see more black people going to college. I want Erie to have a culture for black people that shows who we truly are. Like, we don't have anything. Like, and I was having a conversation with people. There's an Italian festival, there's a Polish festival, there's a Russian festival, there's a Hispanic festival. We don't have a black festival in Erie. We have Juneteenth, but Juneteenth is national.
Yeah.
We don't have a black culture in Erie that is deep rooted to where we can say, oh yeah, well, we had a Polish festival every year for 3 days, and this is what it's about. So when you think about the heritage of some of these other ethnicities in the city of Erie, when you think about the Italians, when you think about the Polish people, when you
Yeah.
think about, what I mean, like the Hispanic people, even the New American community, like there are so many different races and ethnicities that have an identity in Erie, and
Yeah.
we do not. Black people do not have an identity in Erie whatsoever. We have an identity amongst ourselves, and we talk about each other, and we know who's who and what's what. But when is the Black Festival? You know what I mean? Like, when do we get the opportunity to say, okay, for the next 3 days, we finna be out here selling soul food, and we blocking the block off for 3 days, and we gonna be doing bingo, and we gonna raffle a car, and we gonna do face painting, and you know what I mean? All of that stuff. Because I lived on the west side, I lived on the east side, upper, lower. So, and I used to always attend those festivals. I attended the Roar on the Shore, the Italian festival, and stuff like that. So I don't think what I'm saying is me being racist or me segregating or anything like that. But
No.
that's what we need to see when we talk about justice for Cello.
Yeah.
We need to see black people prominent. We need to see black people successful. We need to know that we can trust black people within our community, and we need white people and other races to know that they can trust us in our community, that they can have conversations with us, that we can build together, because we do not have that. We can act like we do. We can say, oh, a couple people have it, but what I will say is none of my peers are a part of the who's who club. You know what I mean? As far as
Yeah.
people my age, and then the people who even are older than me, I've had this conversation with them, and they all have agreed, because we don't have a black anything in Erie. So for me, justice for Cello in Erie, Pennsylvania, looks like more black people having access to more things, and us not waiting for anybody to give it to us. Because I'm not saying the government needs to give us all of these opportunities and all these chances. It's about us building it together. It's about us legitimately uniting, and it not being cliche or it not being corny, but shopping at Manus gas station and just go there, and going to some of our local convenience stores until they turn into big supermarkets. Because Lucky came to Erie, and this man got like 8, 9 gas stations now, and the Manus has only got one, and we all run the Luckies, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So I would love for Erie to look like what Tulsa looked like before they went crazy out there.
Yeah. I agree with you. There needs to be, as a part of change, as we talked about, there needs to be a lot of different change um, in what we see in professions. Back in 1997, um, let me tell you about my job interview with WIC 12. So, Gary Horton was my connection because he worked at Channel 35, and I worked at Channel 35 after he did. And so, with us, me being close with the family, he was a videographer, just like I was. I did my internship there, and then they hired me as a part time videographer. Um, and I did things behind the scenes where I wanted to be on air. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, and so I would re-rack the show, at 6:45 from 6:30, and write my own script, and I would have them put in the videos and stuff, and I would practice, man. And I used to work on those things, and I used to tape my shows when I was doing them. They didn't air, but I was practicing, and Gary Horton worked with Frida Tarbell, and Frida, God rest her soul, um, she left Channel 35 and was over at WICU 12. And he said, "Hey, you guys got a reporter position open. You remember Craig Woodard that you worked with? He's trying to be an on-air personality and everything. You guys should give him a shot, you know." And so Gary made that call for me, man, and I applied for the job. And our news director, the news director at WICU 12 at the time, his name was Mike Conway, and he took me out to lunch for my job interview. We ended up going down to Puffer Bellies down on like Third or Fourth Street or something like that, and I had never been there before, but we went in for lunch, and so we're sitting there, and you ever have that feeling that you know what that someone wants to address the elephant in the room, but they haven't said anything yet, so you just want to break the ice. That's exactly what I actually did. So we're sitting there and we're talking, but his questions were moving around the subject, um, and I said to him, because I knew where he was going with it, and I said, you know, I said, Mike, I said, I am aware that at this point in time, there are no African Americans on TV right now in the news industry in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I said, I would like to fill that void. I'm from here. Um, People know me. People know my family. People will trust me. Um, and on your part, and this is exactly what I said to him. I said, it doesn't matter if people start watching me to see what I'm wearing, to see who I am, to see um, me mess up, make mistakes. It doesn't matter for you as long as your ratings go up and people are watching, and that's ultimately what you want. So I don't sway away from being the only African American on air at all. I actually cherish that, to be uh, almost a trailblazer. There was Randy McElwain before me, Harry Hairston, and now they're passing the torch on to me. And I did that for 6.5 years. And Rob Wilson joined, and a number of others joined. I would love for the Erie community to be able to turn on the TV and see someone that looks like them all the time. I would love for when you go down to the courthouse, and you are looking in the hallway, you see a number of African American attorneys walking through the hallway. That I really have only known two: Khadijah Horton
Nikki
and Larry
Page.
Meredith. I
Oh,
mean,
Nikki Page now.
there's not many. You know what I mean? So when we talk about those prominent positions, and driving the BMWs and the Mercedes and stuff, we need to see people that look like us in these prominent positions being successful, making it and stuff, and letting us know that you can make it too. But then when you get there, you got to open the door and pull somebody up. You know, when me and Jason Miner are very, very good people. We're close, man. I've known him since I was a teenager, and we ended up working together at WICU 12. I helped him get into the business, and then he ended up going down and working in Pittsburgh. That is the game. When you get in and you got the door open, pull somebody up with you, you know? And that's what we got to do in 2026 as well, while securing the bag. While securing the bag, we got to also open up those opportunities for other people, because we all can take advantage of somebody's hard work. Now, you got to do the work when you get in there. you know, you got to do the work when you get in there. But there's a thing I still remember being taught this back in the day, and it's so funny. We're talking about a lot of these things. There were in sports, certain decisions were made because of politics, because this person's father, this, that, or this person's dad makes this amount of money, and so this person's playing over you because of this. And I've been through all that, man. You know what I mean? How come we can't now take advantage of that? I'd like to see a lot more black coaches out there, more black teachers out there. I would love for these students to start paying attention to these teachers and stop cussing at them. Like things are so, it's a mess. I would love for the government to stop trying to raise our kids and let us raise our kids. We used to whoop our children. I used to get whooped back in the day. You were whooped back in the day. That don't happen no more because the government is involved. And that's why you sitting there wondering why we got these issues. We got these issues because y'all changed how we parent. That's why. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different things that I feel that I would love to uh, bring back and see how things would turn out if we could just do some of the things, the simple things that we did back in the day. But that fear, and not even just fear, but respect for the parents is no longer there. And this training, it's home training. This stuff comes, it starts at home. You know what I mean? You get in trouble when you were out playing with your boys and stuff like that, and Miss Johnson comes outside, you're gonna get whooped by Miss Johnson. And then you're gonna go home and your grandmother's gonna whoop you. And then by the time you get home, then your parents is gonna give you a whooping as well. And guess what? You ain't gonna do that again. But that stuff doesn't happen anymore because it can't, because the government's raising our kids, man. Um, I love everything that you talked about, man. We need change. We need to be secure in the bag and trying to turn pennies into dollars every single day. Um, there's a lot of uh, physical change that we would like to see. The representation that you talked about is very key. I would love to see a lot of representation change in the city of Erie that would give some of our young folks, hopes and dreams and somebody to look forward to and somebody that they can aspire to be and say, I want to be in that role because such and such was in that role. And we don't have a lot of that right now. We have some of it, but we need more of it, man.
And that's another thing. We need people to step up so that they can fill those positions as well. Because they could,
Yeah,
let's say, for instance, they would have been, okay, well, we'll hire 10 lawyers, 10 cops, 10 teachers, 10. Who are your candidates?
yeah,
You know what I mean? So we also need to build our community up, and we need to be leading people in the right direction and not shaming people for trying, and encouraging people to continue to put forth effort, because it's hard to be positive. It's hard to try to get on the right track when everybody around you is you know what I mean, trying to take advantage of it or talking bad about you, or
yeah.
people are trying to like copy, piggyback off of you. So yeah,
I'm
I
with
don't know, man. I think we need to just be building people up together too.
Yeah, and that's got to be one thing. And I think people need to take a challenge. People need to take a challenge, man, and we can start a challenge. Once a week, try to build up a young person. Once a week, try to build up a young person. Give a young person some meat and education and advice and inspiration for them to know that things are going to be okay. You never know when that conversation with that young person may be affecting them. They may take that for the rest of their lives and say, you know what? I remember when Deontay pulled me aside and I didn't even know him, but he said to me, you can be anything that you want to be as long as you put your mind to it. And that stuck with me for the rest of my life. You never know when something like that affects someone, but we'll never know if we don't do it. So I challenge everybody once a week, grab a young person and give them some inspiration, give them some hope, give them something that they can walk away with, that they can remember. And it's up to them to either change their life by listening to what you said or not. But if you don't give them that opportunity and you don't take advantage of the opportunity to say something, then we know where that's going to head. But you always say this, D. If not you, then who?
That
Right?
part, if not shooting who, man. And that's why, like, ever since I got involved with working with the PAL,
Mm-hmm.
like, it'd be shocking some of the conversations I'll be having with some of them young people, especially after the session is over and they come asking me questions about vaping, or they come in and asking me questions about marijuana. They come in and asking me questions about relationships. Then I'm working in the high schools too, the vocational schools. So, like, these young people are curious
Yeah,
and they are willing to have conversation with you once you build that level of trust. So I love that challenge. And like over the course of these last couple of weeks, we did all of the elementary schools and I just wrapped up the middle schools and now I'll be doing the high schools. And I'm
nice.
also working with the vocational school. But like, and there are a lot of people in the area community who are working with young people and who are playing their role to try to help build them up. So this is not to take any credit from anybody.
Yeah,
I believe that after witnessing some of the things that I've witnessed, some of those folks need more help.
yeah, yeah. Well, we just have to continue to do what we do, and this is what we do, and continue to encourage other people to do the same thing, and that's how we affect change for the future because our children are our future, and that's the only way that we will be able to tap into preventing something like what happened to Cello to not happen again in not only Erie, Pennsylvania, but down here in Tampa, any city out there, man. We gotta make change. DC, any parting words?
I want everybody to continue to educate yourself, focus on your finances, focus on building yourself up so that we can have more strength within our community. It may seem like it doesn't make sense now, but trust me when I tell you, finances are important. Understanding finances are important. Budgeting is important. So we just gonna keep moving forward with that.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody, we really appreciate you guys listening to us tonight. We are in for the long haul. This is going to be a long process, waiting up until the end of uh, this trial. Even if it goes to trial, we will be here with you every week, just detailing, inspiring, telling you what we think, giving you our thoughts, and just updating you on certain things that we feel is relevant for you. So we really appreciate everybody tuning in to us tonight. On DC's behalf, uh, I'm Craig Woodard. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back next weekend. Actually, you know what? DC next weekend with me being in Erie, I might still try to see if I can. I might have to try to pull it off on my phone or something like that. But with me being out of town, and I won't be in the studio, because I'll be up there. We might have to hit them the following week, but I'll keep everybody posted. So we'll tune in and we'll let you guys know next time when we'll be on air for episode 59. For Deontay Cooley, I'm Craig Woodard. Good night. Enjoy your weekend.